Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast where we make English easier and hopefully a little less painful.
Exactly. Because today we're talking about 3 tiny words that have caused millions of English learners to suffer. Was, did, and had.
Honestly, these 3 words have probably started more grammar fights than pineapple on pizza.
Absolutely. I once heard someone say, "Did you went there?" And my English teacher almost fainted. And so today we're going to make these words so easy that you'll remember them forever.
Let's start with was.
Think of was as a photographer.
A photographer?
Yes. A photographer takes a picture of a situation in the past. For example, I was tired. This is a picture of your condition yesterday.
Another one. The restaurant was crowded. Again, we're describing the situation.
So remember, was equals description in the past.
Yesterday, I was so hungry that I opened the fridge 5 times, hoping new food would magically appear.
That's not hunger. That's optimism.
The fridge was empty.
And your hopes were destroyed.
Here are more examples. I was sleepy. The movie was boring. My boss was angry. My internet was slower than a turtle.
Imagine someone asks, "How was your vacation?" They're not asking what you did. They're asking for a description.
Exactly. You can answer, "It was amazing. It was terrible. It was expensive."
Now, let's talk about DID.
I have a fun memory trick. Imagine did is a detective. Detectives always ask questions. They ask, "Did you eat the cake? Did you steal my fries? Did you finish your homework?"
Perfect. So remember, did equals action questions. Now, let's learn these grammar rules through a funny story. Yesterday, my mom looked at the empty cookie box.
Uh-oh.
Then she asked, "Leo, did you eat all the cookies?"
What did you say?
I said no, but there were chocolate crumbs on my face.
Worst detective movie ever. Now, let's talk about the most common mistakes. And trust me, some of these mistakes are so common that even advanced learners still make them.
Everyone repeat after me. Did you went or did you go?
Why? Because did is already past.
Think about it. If your friend already paid the bill, you don't pay again.
Exactly. The word did already carries the past tense. The second verb can relax.
Imagine did saying, "I already brought the past tense. You don't need to bring another one." Poor went. It can stay home.
Now we have the most mysterious word. Had.
Think of had as a time machine because it goes even further into the past. For example, I arrived at the cinema, but before I arrived, the movie had already started.
The movie happened first. Your arrival happened later. All right, everyone. Now it's time for the fun part. Let's learn these grammar rules through a funny story you'll probably never forget. Last week, I finally reached the buffet restaurant, but all the pizza had already been eaten. I almost cried.
This is why grammar is emotional. Another example. I woke up late. I ran to the station, but the train had already left.
This sentence is used in almost every English textbook.
Because apparently everyone misses trains.
Think like this. Past to past before past.
That's what head does. All right, everyone. Now let's imagine a funny situation together.
Yes. Imagine that you went to a big birthday party where there was loud music, lots of food, and some very hungry people.
You arrive at the party and want to describe what it was like. Then you can say, the party was extremely loud and everyone was dancing and having a great time. Notice that we are simply describing the situation in the past.
Did. Now, your friend becomes curious and asks you about your activities. So they ask, what did you do at the party after you arrived there? And you might answer, I talked with my friends, ate too much cake, and spent an hour taking funny selfies. Here, we are talking about actions, so we use did.
Had. But imagine you arrived very late. Really late. So late that all the good food was gone. Then you could say, when I finally arrived at the party, everyone had already eaten all the pizza and desserts. Here, eating happened first, and your arrival happened later. That's why we use had. So remember, same party, but 3 completely different grammar jobs.
Now comes the fun part. Let's put these grammar rules into a real-life conversation.
Mia, how was your weekend?
Honestly, it was wonderful because I finally had some time to relax after a very busy week.
That sounds nice. What'd you do during the weekend?
I watched movies, ordered food, stayed in my pajamas all day, and slept for almost 12 hours.
12 hours? Mia, that doesn't sound like a weekend. That sounds like a bear preparing for winter.
Thank you very much for your kind words.
You're welcome. But tell me honestly, had you finished all your work before you started your marathon sleeping session?
Of course I had. I may be lazy sometimes, but I still finish my responsibilities first.
Good answer. Otherwise, your boss might be listening to this podcast.
Let's make these words super easy to remember.
All right, everyone. Let's see if you can answer these questions. Fill in the blank. The food, absolutely delicious. And everyone wanted a second plate.
The answer is was, because we are describing the food. Was equals picture. Imagine taking a photo of a moment in the past. The photo simply shows the situation. For example, the restaurant was crowded. I was tired. The weather was beautiful.
DID equals detective. Imagine a detective asking questions. Detectives always want to know what happened. They ask things like, did you eat the cookies? Did you finish your homework? Did you break my phone? Detectives love actions.
Had equals time machine. Imagine having a time machine that takes you even further into the past. Something happened first. Then another thing happened later. Example, I arrived at the cinema, but the movie had already started.
All right, we've learned the rules separately. Now let's put was, did, and had together in one hilarious story.
All right. Yesterday was one of the most embarrassing days of my life.
Uh-oh, this already sounds interesting.
I was late for work because I accidentally turned off my alarm and continued sleeping peacefully. That peaceful sleep always becomes stressful later. When I finally woke up, I looked at my phone and immediately realized something terrible.
Let me guess. You had 20 missed calls.
Even worse. I'd forgotten about an important morning meeting, so I quickly called my boss.
And what did he say?
He asked me, "Did you forget about today's meeting?"
That is never a good question to hear from your boss.
I tried to sound confident and said, "No, of course not."
Let me guess. You definitely forgot.
100%. By the time I finally arrived at the office, everyone had already started discussing the project. It was so embarrassing because everyone looked at me as if I had just arrived from another planet.
Ouch. Well, at least your embarrassing day became a perfect grammar lesson.
Now, final lesson. All right, everyone, repeat after me. Was equals what was the situation like? Did equals what action happened? Had equals what happened before another event in the past.
English grammar does not have to be scary or complicated. Sometimes all you need is a funny story, a missing pizza, and a missed meeting.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Keep practicing English every day. Keep laughing and enjoying the learning process.
And keep speaking English with confidence.